Patriot Academy graduates now serve in state capitals around America, in the halls of Congress, in business, in the film industry, in the pulpit, and every area of the culture. They're leading effectively and impacting the world around them. Patriot Academy is now expanding across the nation, and now's your chance to experience this life-changing week that trains champions to change the world. Visit patriotacademy.com for dates and locations. Our core program is still for young leaders 16 to 25 years old, but we also now have a citizen track for adults. So visit the website today to learn more. Help us fill the void of leadership in America. Join us in training champions to change the world at patriotacademy.com. Welcome back to WALLBUILDERS Live. Thanks for staying with us today. I am so excited about this interview. Brandon Tatum is with us. You got to watch his Prager U, by the way. We're going to have a link to that at our website today, and also author of the new book, Beaten Black and Blue. Brandon Tatum, founder of the Tatum Report. TatumReport.com is where you go to find it. Brandon, thanks for coming on WALLBUILDERS Live today, man.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely our pleasure. Just appreciate your voice out there. I love watching you on Candace and everywhere I can catch you, and following you on Twitter and other places where I can find you. Just really important what you're saying out there, and the voice that you've had. And of course, we love Prager U anyway. I require it of all my Patriot Academy students. One Prager U a day keeps the leftist away, is the way I see it. Anyway, tell us about the new book. Is it out yet? Can we get it yet?
Well, the book is available now for pre-order. You can get the signed copy or the non-signed copy at beatenblackandblue.com. It'll be available officially. The release date is November the 30th.
All right. And I want to ask you first. I mean, you're a former police officer there in Arizona, Tucson. Was it Tucson or Phoenix?
I'm a former police officer in Tucson.
Tucson. Okay. Last summer, when all the anti-police, defund the police stuff started, I mean, how did you respond to that? What was your take on that? And do you think we're past that, or is that still being pushed across the country?
Well, I think that first I was very upset about it. I thought it was illegitimate to demonize probably the bravest people in the United States of America. By and large, most people are doing their job and protecting and serving on a day-to-day basis. I thought it was disgusting, and I know that it's not real. It's just pushed because there's a political agenda which comes around every election season. So I think that it's died down a little bit. The rhetoric, to a certain degree, has died down a little bit. Police departments all over the country are enforcing damaging principles and things, and defunding their police department, and they're doing some things that are damaging, but the rhetoric is slowed down. However, in 2022 election cycle, and when 2024 comes around, just know that it's going to ramp up again. But I'm very disgusted by what I see and the way people are portraying police officers.
You point out in your Epic Times article earlier this summer how much crime has increased in so many of these areas where they did slash police budgets. I mean, it's significant. You point out Philadelphia 40%. This is just a murder rate. New York City 22%, LA 27%, Minneapolis 56%, and then you point out in Portland a staggering 800%. Do you think that's a direct result of the defund the police movement?
Yes, I think it's a direct result. When police officers are not out feeling confident and able to proactive police, criminals are going to run rampant. And if they understand the criminals, if they understand that the city doesn't have the back of the police officers, and there's going to be police officers that, are going to be afraid to just do their job. And if you have those things occurring, people are going to, they're going to act up. And it's a simple mathematical equation. All you got to do is look at the fact that they've been, bashing police, negative rhetoric, defunding police departments, and the crime rate is going up. But there's no other explanation besides, what they've been saying about police. So if they want to make sure that crime goes down and communities are safer, then they need to change their rhetoric.
Yeah, and it seems like, I remember reading, massive exodus, basically. A lot of police officers around the country said, enough is enough. If the leadership in the community is not going to back us, and we're going to be constantly put into a situation where we're literally, not even able to defend our lives and other people's lives, and then our livelihood is put on the chopping block, all these things. There was a mass exodus from Minneapolis, and as you talk to former police officers or police officers across the country that are considering that, how concerned are you about recruiting for police forces across the country and people's desire to even go into the field anymore?
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. I mean, you got multiple things going on here. You know, the negative rhetoric against police, actual defunding of police, prosecuting police officers that are actually doing their job, legally arresting people and using force against individuals. And then now you have, them trying to mandate vaccines on police departments. And some police officers do not want to get vaccinated. And so now they found another way to demonize police and separate them or, discriminate against them. And it's not going to be easy to recruit. I mean, recruiting police officers in general is a very difficult thing to do because most people don't want to die or put their lives at risk for other people they don't know. And in many cases, it's a calling on your life to be a police officer. It's not just a job. So when you have a career field that's as sparse as being a police officer, and then you add all these other components in, it's like, most people, they're not going to want to go down that path. What's the point? It's not a desirable career. And then in many cases, with what's going on in the economy and some of these police departments, they're doing away with the pension plan. And now people doing 401ks. So it's going to be a struggle to get qualified police officers, not just police officers in general, but qualified people who are upper echelon that want to be in the career field that are not only educated but have tactical experience but in the military. It's going to be very difficult to get solid people that want to put on a uniform.
Are a lot of those officers moving out of the cities where they don't have the support, the big cities, and just moving to other places? I mean, or do you think they're just getting out of the field completely? I mean, these mayors like in Portland and Seattle, what an embarrassment. But are they just saying, fine, I'm going to go to a rural area where they appreciate my service and what I'm doing, or to a state like Texas? Do you think that they're still going to stay in the field, or do you think we're losing them completely?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers to support either one way or the other. I'm really hoping that good quality police officers don't leave the career. And many police officers are certified police officers. So, I mean, they could go and lateral to another agency, even within the same state, because there are some agencies that are completely woke and out of control. And there's some agencies in that very same state, whether it's the sheriff's department, whether it's the highway patrol, that are not. So, I would hope that many police officers who love the career, who have an actual active pension plan in that particular state, would just lateral to another more effective agency or lateral out of state. There's plenty of incentive packages. I saw a police department, I can't remember which one, they were giving $30,000 to officers that were lateral in. I mean, that's a significant amount of money for a police officer. So I'm hoping that they are lateraling at this point and that we're not just losing people in general, where there's a shortage of policing even in good areas where the police department would support their officers. So I'm really hoping that it's not the fact that people are just getting out of the profession. If I had any advice to give a police officer, I'd tell them, pursue your career in a place that respects and appreciates law enforcement before you throw in the towel completely.
That's good. That's good. Well, you talk about this in the article and other places. It's so much more than just defund the police. It really is a Marxist movement to create chaos and division, whether they divide us based on race or vaccines or masks or whatever. They just want to divide us. They just want to create that chaos. And you're giving actual solutions in response to this movement. The Blexit Foundation that you started with Candace Owens. You're out there in minority communities saying, hey, there are answers to these problems. Let's talk about a few of those before I let you go today. You talk about advocating for school choice. What do you see that doing in not just minority communities, really for the education system as a whole, especially after this last year of CRT being crammed down the throats of so many schools and kids and parents speaking out against that? Do you think school choice is an answer to all that?
It's definitely a part of the answer. It's not a complete answer. I mean, you can have school choice and your kid can go to a private school, but the parents have to be actively involved. I think the biggest issue that we see is the lack of male leadership in a lot of these families, whether they're there but not there, meaning that they're not an active father in their kid's life, even though they're living under the same roof. Or you have people having children out of wedlock, and it's an epidemic in the minority community. At 70+% of households or children are born out of wedlock, which is an incredible issue. You can look at any statistical data, and I have this in my book. You can look at statistical data that shows that, kids that are without a father are more likely to go to jail, more likely to commit suicide, more likely to drop out of school. All of these different numbers that suggest that we need strong male leadership in the family, and parents need to be active in their children's lives. This is one thing that I hate when I hear people say when they complain about the school system. The school system is a part of it. But at the same time, you as a parent need to be accountable for supporting your children and knowing what they're teaching at school and helping them when they get home.
Yeah.
But I do think this school choice is a winning strategy because parents who want to be involved, children who want to learn, can have an opportunity to learn at an institution that can teach them properly and not some rundown school that they don't really care about the students. They only in it for the money. So definitely those two components are very effective and something that we preach at Blexit as much as we can.
Well, and one of the things y'all specifically zero in on teaching is entrepreneurship and free enterprise. I mean, those have been demonized in every community in America. It seems like, if somebody's wealthy or made money, they must have cheated or stole or whatever. That's kind of the image. We even call it, greedy capitalist pig is better known phrase than successful entrepreneur. So it's vital to a free society and a free enterprise system to start championing entrepreneurship and free enterprise again and talking about how those can be the escape, as you say it, from government dependency and poverty. So talk a little bit about that and how that's being received and how you guys teach that.
Well, that's a good question. First of all, we live in America, so we're only teaching American values, freedom.
That's right.
I don't know why everybody's not on the same page with these things. American exceptionalism, capitalism. You can be as great as you want to be. All you got to do is work hard. Now, you may not be a billionaire, but you can still be successful within you being the best version of yourself, the gifts that God has given you in your life and the goals that you should accomplish based on your desires. So, that's all we do. We just teach people the American way. I mean, we live in this country. It's very simple. And what we do is, not only do we talk to our young people about this on a day-to-day basis when we go into the inner cities and we talk to young kids and we do outreach. I mean, because mostly what we do is we'll go do book bag drives. We'll go and cook out in the communities, and that's where we use our opportunity to speak and give advice and different things like that. It's not only we have an event and you got to come to this. Like, we go into the community and reach out and meet people where they're at, and then we have these conversations with families and young people. But, we live by example. Candace, Owens, and I, we've been able to accomplish a lot and become very successful. We're married. We have children. We want to be an example, and that example matriculates down to the young people that we speak to, even without us directly saying some of these things. But we do teach that, you live in America. You're not a victim. What do you want to be? Make a goal, have integrity, be loyal to the principles that you stand by, and you can accomplish a lot of great things. And we tell people, that we talk to the young people and adults, that don't put limits on what God can do for you. And that's the simple message that we have.
No, it's powerful, man. I mean, it's like you said, it's the American way. It's not Republican or Democrat values. It's not black or white values. I mean, we're back to the Superman comics, man. Truth, justice, and the American way. I mean, that's what you're teaching and what is so desperately needed. You also talk about, and I think it was in Larry Elder's Uncle Tom movie, where you talked about the importance of putting guys like Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams and these great minds in front of these young black kids, that nobody showed you that or taught you any of their materials until you were something like 30 years old, and how important it is to put those heroes, put these black heroes in front of these black kids and say, look, the American dream is available for you, and have these brilliant guys teaching these things. Talk a little bit about that and how you use, the history and, you tell the good, the bad, the ugly, tell it all, but using that to inspire minority kids to succeed and want to be a part of the American dream.
Yeah, great question. So when you are a young kid and you're looking for role models and you're looking for people that you can aspire to be like and someone who can, hold the torch or pass the torch to you.
Yeah.
When you're in the community looking for that, or when you're looking for those things, you need to find quality people that you can admire. These rappers and drug dealers and stuff. And, some of those people become prolific because they are very famous. But there's people, like I said, like Thomas Sowell is probably one of the most brilliant people to ever live. The black, white, green, or orange. He's one of the most brilliant people to ever live. His philosophies permeate generations. And I think young people need to listen to what he has to say and understand that, look at his success. You know, he's an intellect. He's written over 20 books. I mean, he can really walk you through a successful economic life or even an economic success in life, and then also a moral success in life, and just being an open-minded, free-thinking person. So I really wish that we had some additional role models, not just people who are famous and actors in Hollywood, but like individuals who are grassroots, black men came from nothing, becoming something very special and being educated while doing it.
I love it. I love it. Well, my son has a master's in an undergrad in economics and a master's in homeland security type things. And Thomas Sowell is absolutely his favorite. He says he's the greatest economist to ever live. And I agree. I mean, I'm telling you, that's in fact, I saw a meme the other day. You've probably seen it. It said schools now stopping teaching reading for fear that students may discover Thomas Sowell. So,
right.
I mean,
it probably sounds funny, but I really do believe that there's an effort in these school systems to avoid exposing students to people like Thomas Sowell. They don't want you to see. They don't want you to talk about. He doesn't exist in the Black History Museum. He does not exist in Black History Month. They don't talk about him. They don't want nothing to do with him because God is my witness. He was very convincing to me when I watched him because he's very smart. He has all his facts together. He's a compelling person, in an argument. And if people had exposure to Thomas Sowell, the black community will never be the same again, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. And I mean, even his own personal story of as a young man being, leaning towards Marxism and how he came out of that. And it's incredible. It's powerful. I couldn't agree with you more, man. I really want to encourage people to get the book, beatenblackandblue.com. You can order it, do your pre-order right now. You can go to the website, beatenblackandblue.com. Also go to blexitfoundation.org. Brandon Tatum, God bless you, man. Keep up the great work. I hope we can get you back again soon.
God bless you. Thank you, and anytime.
Special thanks to Brandon Tatum for joining us today. A real treat, as I mentioned at the top of the program. I've been a fan of Brandon's for a long time and watching his videos.